Welcome, welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We are going to be talking again tonight about the law, what it is, how it works, how to use it, and with anyone's questions or comments or whatever it is, we can see how to apply it in any given situation at all times because it is a lifestyle. It is not, as I always say, it is not a get out of jail free card. It is not a lottery ticket. It is not some kind of medication or prescription to just alleviate or ease your pain. It is a way of living to that will do that and will keep you out of the situation as well. So this is not a sermon. It's not a service. It's not a seminar. It's not a lecture. This is just a sharing the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding of how consciousness works. The fact that we are consciousness and operating from that perspective and point of view. So that's why we're here this evening, and it's going to be another wonderful evening of sharing and caring. Um, so I look forward to everyone coming on in and us getting it going, getting it started. So that is wonderful. Um, Whenever you watch this as a replay, it is a lot of information that we share on here um, can be quite different than what people have been taught and definitely believe up to this point in life. So it is it's a good thing to really take some time to reflect on it, digest it, take what works for you, take from it what you can uh, as we continue to mature, right, in our awareness, become more aware of our awareness, more aware of who we really are, and things like that. The same information can sound much different as our awareness of self, right, and our awareness of being aware increases, right? So it's not that we always have to hear new things. A lot of times we have to hear the same things over and over, right? Because faith comes by hearing. So we have to hear things over and over to get a proper perspective and true understanding, almost like chewing food over and over until it goes from a solid to a liquid, so that our digestive system is able to digest it, right? It's not really designed to digest food. It's designed to digest liquid, right? It's supposed to be liquefied. That's why we have teeth. We're supposed to liquefy it, masticate it, chew it all the way down from a solid into a more liquefied form so that it can more easily go through our digestive system. But it takes chewing, right? And as we hear this information and as we share this information, it takes hearing, right? Hearing, reflecting, thinking over it, about it, so that we can actually uh, digest it and it become a part of, just like food becoming a part of our bloodstream and therefore a part of the energy that's used to form into this body, so to speak. The information becomes part of our consciousness that we use to form the life that or the experiences that we want to have. So that's what we are here, whether it's tonight, whether it's on the weekend calls, whether it's in the membership calls or whatever else it is. That is basically what we're here doing, right? Is essentially remembering who we are, um, in some shape or form, remembering, reminding, um, living like it, acting like it, um, and getting a better understanding of it from a human perspective, so to speak, right? Feeding information to our brain that it, um, for most of us, has never heard before. So that is where a lot of our reticence or hesitance to believe what we are, to believe what's being said here is not because it's wrong, but because it is brand new and distinctly different than what we've heard before. And our ego mind doesn't really care for that too much, especially if it's in direct opposition to what it values, meaning what it has heard for a long time, what's been repeated to it over and over. So, we're here to work it out, shake it out. Um, we're here to, um, come together and reason, right? So it's a wonderful opportunity to do that. That's what we're doing. So as everybody falls in and we get to having discussion and asking questions and learning and growing, that is how we increase our ability to live, not only live this lifestyle, but live it well. Yes, that is correct. All is well. I am perfect. I am perfect. All is well. Nice blanket statement. Just not talking about anything in particular, but just things specifically. It's like a blanket on the bed. It's big enough to be able to cover your whole body, but you can use it just for the parts you want to cover. But it's designed for the whole body, so you don't have to cover anything in particular. You can if you want to, but it is designed to cover everything, your entire body. And so statements like this, all is well, I am perfect. I am perfect, all is well. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is perfect. Just general blanket statements like this, right? Repeated, right, to the point that we are, that is the way we think on a regular, continuous basis, is what keeps us covered. Just like the blanket keeps us covered, and the quality of that blanket keeps us covered a certain way. What we say to ourselves and about ourselves keeps us covered, and the quality of that, of those thoughts, of that intention, um, how clear we are with that, how um, focused we are with that, is like the quality of the blanket. There's different blankets that make us feel some, even though that we're all covered, they make us feel a little warmer, and some don't do the job quite as well. But even though they're covering the same thing, so all is well. I am perfect. I am perfect. All is well. Everything is always working out for me. Everything I set my hand to prospers. I'm loved and chosen and cherished and protected and respected and prioritized by everything and everyone, right? Just general things like that that you can say to yourself, um, that isn't necessarily specific to anything or particular to anything, but just an overall awareness of being, that everything is always working out for you, that you're prosperous and in good health, even as your soul prospers. Everything you set your hand to prospers. Everything you touches turns to gold, right? That you are health, or you are abundance, or just things that you say to yourself about yourself, because what you tell yourself is true is true. When you know who you are, you understand that death and life are in the power of the tongue. You understand that you're declaring the end from the beginning. You understand that what you say goes, that what you say matters. There is no other sayer in your world. There's no other speaker in your world. There's no other thinker in your world. Um, you are it. So your world, your physical, what you would call reality, is an expression of your inner world, right? So it is important what's going on in there, because whatever's going on in there is what and why you see what you see out there. It's what you see out there and why you see it. That's what it is. It's a reflection of what's going on internally. So our internal conversations, internal dialogue, our mental diet, meaning the thoughts that we choose to consistently engage with, as well as the thoughts that we choose to refrain from. Those are your mental diet. It is what your mind is consuming or abstaining from. So when the book talks about fasting, that's what it's talking about. It's talking about um, really being mindful about what it is you're ingesting, what or when, right? And sometimes, a lot of times, it is best to abstain from a lot of things until you can really make sure things are cleaned out, and you become more perspicacious, more aware of the detail, more aware of what it is you are considering, eating, right? And it's the same thing till you become more aware of whatever it is you're considering to think, right? So um, your 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 digestive system digests food. That's what your stomach is for. Your ears are to hear, your eyes are to see, and your brain is to think. That's what your mind uses, the brain, right? Um, and so it's always your mind is always putting thoughts into the brain for the brain to be able to eat, so to speak. That's the brain's food, thinking, right? Thoughts. So whichever ones that we entertain the most, those are what we create or what we use to, create or select. Those thoughts that we select are what we use to create to cook up our physical experience, right? So when we choose like a good chef, what we are going to put on the menu, um, and understand what those ingredients are and how to cook them, understand what thinking is and how to do it, uh, is we will be the more aware of that, the better understanding and knowledge we have about that process, the better results we're going to get, the better the food's going to taste, the better life is going to feel, feel and look, right? So, yes, all is well, I am perfect, all is well. Just a wonderful thing to wake up saying to yourself when you first wake up in the morning or before you go to bed, last thing at night, fall asleep saying that to yourself, right? It is so important what you are saying to yourself before you doze off into sleep. It is so important what you say to yourself when you first wake up, because that is when your subconscious mind, the impressionable part of your consciousness, is most susceptible to the thoughts you give it. Once you wake up, so to speak, your consciousness is there and it kind of reports to duty as the security guard, right? And that's the one you have to bypass to get into uh, to that part of your consciousness where all things come from, right? So it's like all of a farmer's food comes from the trees and all, or from the trees, and all the farmer's trees come from the seeds, right? So all the farmer's food comes from the seeds. Well, seeds. All of our experiences come from our thoughts, right? So we have to make sure that we are, right before we go to sleep and right when we're waking up and when we're falling off, drifting off into sleep, and when we're waking up, we are that part of our mind that is producing that's taking the seeds and producing them into orchards or vineyards or farmland, so to speak. That is when it's most susceptible to the seed getting in, is when the guard is not there, is when the conscious mind is not there. You can go right in and put a thought of doing, being, or having into that part of your consciousness, your subconscious, the conscious part of your mind that you can't see, that you're not really aware of. When you're able to put the thoughts directly in there during those times, whether you're in meditation or when you're sleeping, especially when you're first going into sleep and when you're first coming out, if you're able to be conscious about what you tell yourself, what you're thinking, what you're feeling and believing to be true, you can really change your world very quickly, because your thoughts don't have to bypass, so to speak, this guard at the door of your subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is the guard at the door. It's the one that looks at the thought and says, okay, are we sure we want to do this? And if it hasn't seen that thought before, if it hasn't seen that ID, it a lot of times can fight you, or it can feel like you're fighting to get through, to get in, right? And a lot of times it's just because it's a thought it's not familiar with, or a belief, or a feeling that it's unfamiliar with. So right before you go to sleep and right when you wake up, those are powerful times to really impress upon that um, seed-bearing part of your mind, uh, whatever it is you want to do, be, or have. Um, it's the most effective and efficient way to really do it, right? So, that's one of the reasons, that's one of the metaphorical reasons that Adam was put to sleep. When another part of the book it said, Eve was taken out of him. It's saying a lot of different things, but one of the things it's saying is that's why Adam was put to sleep, right? Because in that form of consciousness, you can draw out things that wide awake you can't. Almost like they put us to sleep when we go into surgeries, because if they didn't put us to sleep, people would be hollering and running around the emergency room and the surgery room and everything, right? From pain, getting poked and prodded and cut and stitched and things being pulled out and rearranged. People, it would be a madhouse, but they put us under, so to speak, right? Just like just like God put Adam under, right, in order to pull out something. So that's why we're put under the more severe or serious the operation or circumstance is, right? So just things like that. So that's a good tip, good thing to understand. Um, that a lot of times people don't really know what that means or why that happened, right? So, yeah, what you say to yourself going to sleep, what you say when you're first waking up, two really good times to impress that part of your mind that produces, right, um, what is put into it. So that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, we're on here to talk about the law, talk about what it is, how it works, take people's questions, examples, or whatever else it is, and see how it applies and how they can apply this law. That's good. When you, I'm glad to see that you're doing that. Um, when you know how it, when you know, well, even if you don't, but when you do know, it's great. But when you know how it works, right, you understand that how important that time really is, right? Because like I said, that bodyguard or that security guard basically clocks off work as you slip out of one state of mind, right, into different states, right, and delta and theta and all the other things. So the further you go away from consciousness, the further the security guard is, so to speak, away from that part of your mind, and the more you're able to get into the club, so to speak, into that part of your mind where all things are produced, right? Where all the seeds that are put in there are being grown. So the more you can do that, people do it by falling asleep, to listening to something all night, or they do it in meditation. They can do it a lot of times just by affirming or script. It's just find different ways to change, to change the brain frequency that you are operating from, right? In order to gain access to that part of your brain that has that function. So yes, doing that is a wonderful thing. And people do it, like I said, they do it meditating, they can do it scripting, just writing in a journal and just kind of really getting into that. The ideas that you're writing, the concept you're writing of yourself or of how you want things to be in your world, just all that type of stuff. So absolutely, absolutely, that's a wonderful thing to do. Um, and if you keep doing it, that is the fastest way to really um, instill a belief or to remodel a belief, to remove one, instill one, remodel one, but really get into that part of your mind that's in charge with producing what people call reality, right? But reality is an inward thing, and that's expressed outwardly. Humanity calls it reality once it sees it, but it's the only reason you can see it is because it exists before you saw it, right? So um, consciousness calls it reality as soon as it's aware of it. As soon as it becomes aware of this thing, of being this thing, or doing this thing, or having this thing, it produces it in physical form. So it is reality itself, the inward part of ourself, the I am, the consciousness the is reality itself, right? So that's always a good thing, always a good thing, right? So just understanding how the law works, right? Which is basically in so many different ways and so many different words, right? Whatever you tell yourself is true, and whatever you tell yourself is based on who you think you are, what your identity is, how you identify yourself, who do you think you are, and whatever that answer is therefore going to be um, what you tell yourself, and what you tell yourself is going to be what you express, because what you're telling yourself is your experience and consciousness. You're aware of being something. That's why you're telling yourself something. Whatever you're aware of, you're telling yourself. So that's your experience, and that experience produces an expression, the physical world, right? Produces humanity, produces the body, produces money, produces whatever consciousness is aware of, being or doing or having, is what gives life to the physical expression of that thing. And the physical expression is literally just the physical expression of consciousness. It's like the head to the tails and the tails to the head. It is the outcome of something, the other side of something, right? So meditation is, one of the meanings of it is middle. Like you're always mediating between the non-physical and the physical world. You're standing there in the middle almost. And you're bringing the non-physical, all of consciousness, your ideas and thoughts and feelings and beliefs, you're bringing them from over there through you, and you're pushing them out through you into what we call the physical world. So the non-physical thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, right, are being pushed through us out, right? The other side, so to speak, called humanity calls reality, physical expression, right? But the experience, the internal experience, is what creates or produces the physical expression. So that is why we want to always be mindful of what we're telling ourselves, what we're thinking and feeling to be true, because that is what we are going to mediate to ourselves. We are going to bring that into physical form, right? By mediating, by meditating on it, right? By being in the middle of that and saying, I'm aware of being, and whatever I'm aware of being, those are the thoughts and feelings and beliefs that I'm entertaining and operating with, and those things are going to be pushed out into physical expression, into the expression, the experiences I have, because that's who I am. The experiences I have are a result of who I'm of my physical expression, and my physical expression is a result of what I'm telling myself, and what I'm telling myself is an expression of my consciousness, right? So at the very end, right, my expression, that my physical expression, is the result of my beginning consciousness, awareness of being. So therefore, whatever I'm aware of being in mind, that is not only what I can be in body, so to speak, in physical expression and physical uh, expression or experience, but that is always what I'm being. That's the only thing I'm ever being, is that which I'm aware of being. I can only have what I have. I can only have in hand what I have in mind. Right? I can only have in my hand what I first have in my mind. So that is why it's so important. It's inviolable what you are thinking and feeling and believing to be true, what you're telling yourself, what you're entertaining, what you're aware of in mind, because that is literally what you are producing in physical expression. You're literally saying abracadabra. What your awareness of being is literally saying abracadabra all day long. So it's important that you, as the magician, so to speak, are aware of what abracadabra means. Like, what am I producing? What is it that I'm producing? What am I aware of being? Whatever that is abracadabra, so to speak. So it is, as as you speak, as you say, right? Not really in word, but in awareness, because I am is not a body, so it doesn't have to. It's just consciousness. So consciousness, whatever, it's awareness. It's just awareness. It's all that is. So when we are aware as all that is, we're aware of a particular thing, that is what we produce in physical expression. The physical expression is our awareness pushed out, right? And all things in our world, all physical things in our world are the same. Awareness push out. Our awareness pushed out made physical. What is going on the inside being made seen on the outside. That's all this is. And so as we understand that, then we can be more mindful and aware of what we are entertaining on the inside, what we're telling ourselves, believing to be true, all those different things. We're able to predict our future, essentially, because we're choosing it by knowing that whatever we tell ourselves is true is true. And when we know that consciousness is and there is no other creator, then we understand that whatever we're conscious of, that is what's going to be present in our world for as long as we remain aware of it. Right? It's not about physical world doesn't do anything to us or for us. It is only the reflection of us. The painting doesn't do anything to us or for us. Only the painter can do that. Right? Because that painting is a reflection of the painter. So it cannot be any better or worse. It's just a reflection of the painter. The painting isn't good or bad. It's just an expression of the painter. The world isn't good or bad. It's just an expression of the thinker. So we see the world literally as we see the world, as we are, right? We see the world as we identify ourselves. So if we identify ourselves with fear or pain or doubt or insecurity or uncertainty, we will see the world that way. We will find ways to see the world that way because that's what our consciousness is conceiving itself to be. So now it's like, oh, okay, let me find the physical reflection of doubt, insecurity, uncertainty, fear, worry, stress, panic, and and that will be shown to us. It may be in the news, it may be in our health, it may be within our friendships, it may be with our money, it may be in our business, it may be whatever it is, but our awareness of being has the ways and means to bring into physical experience whatever we are internally believing to be true. That's its job. That's literally its job. It's like your own personal shopper, right? Like if you're a celebrity and and you have a personal shop, you have a personal shopper, a personal stylist. That's there. Your physical life is are the clothes that you are wearing from your stylist, from your personal stylist, right? So it is important for you to really think about what it is, how you want to look, because those are the outfits that your stylist is going to pick for you. You tell it how you want to look, and it's going to bring outfits that physically reflect your what you told it to get, how you told it you wanted to look. So these are all things that take time to understand. They take time and repetition. It is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. There's no finish line. There's no, oh, I've made it. There's no, oh, today is just, I'm gonna, I don't, I can just tell myself anything today. Oh, it doesn't matter what I'm thinking. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, this is a lifestyle. It's a way of living. It's an everyday thing. It's not when it's tax season or when it's time to get Christmas presents or when my health goes bad. It's a style of living every day. It's just a purposeful, conscious style of living where everyone has a lifestyle. Everyone is living a particular way. But most styles of living or lifestyles are not chosen consciously and purposely and purposefully by the person living it. They have just been living it so long, they now assume that this is the only way or that any other way is going to be too hard, or they're, even if they don't like it, they're unwilling to try something new. Most people, before they try something new, they want proof. But that's like asking a scientist to prove a hypothesis without testing something. How can you do that? How can you know if something's different if you're not willing to try? If you're not willing to engage in that, whatever that difference is. Like I said, it's like asking a scientist to prove a theory without being willing to test. You can't do it. So this is a style of living where we are not just talking about living a certain way, actually putting this way to the test. Like it says in the book, test me, prove me, right? That's what this style of living is. It is for you to realize who you are and that you are source, that you are all that is, and that you can literally you literally create your reality. You create all of your physical expressions by the psychological or conscious experiences that you have, by what you're telling yourself, what you're thinking to be true, what you're feeling to be true. You are consciously, you are with your consciousness, you are literally cooking up your experiences, right? So Once you understand that, then you can make a conscious, deliberate effort to choose wisely, to choose this day who you serve, right? To realize and remember that thoughts of a feather, feelings of a feather, beliefs of a feather flock together. That creation is finished. Everything is already done, including you. Everything you'll ever want to do, be, or have is within you. Everything that you could ever be, do, or have as you is also in there, right? Is also within you, is also you right now. So it is just a matter of changing your awareness and you'll see different aspects of yourself, right? Each choice brings out a different aspect of yourself, right? A different physical expression of yourself, but they're all you. They're all you. Every expression of yourself is just an aspect of you, right? It's all coming from the same source, from the same genesis, the same beginning, the same gene, right? So it's important to then say, okay, well, if I'm all that is, what do I choose to be? How do I choose to express that? And that is when you begin to live with purpose, when you begin to live consciously, right? So I was listening to someone the other day, a guy named Viktor Frankl, who was in a um, who happened to be in some of the concentration camps um, in Germany back in the day, and he talked about how everyone wanted to live, but the people who had a reason to, who had a purpose to, did the best. Essentially, they survived things that they would have never thought they could before this happened. Whether it's with their diet or showering and not having a towel and showering outside in the cold, sleeping in the cold, um, not being able to shower for days upon end, having open cuts and wounds and things that they would have thought would have been infected. Like so many, just basically him talking about how things that they would have never imagined they could overcome or deal with, they were able to overcome and deal with because of the purpose that they had for themselves. To see if in fact they could overcome it, if they had what it took to overcome, right? And all of us do, everyone does. It's just that everyone doesn't always exercise it. Everyone doesn't always believe they can. But in potential, we're all the same. We're not all here to do the same things, but in potential, we're all the same in the sense of, in potential, we have everything necessary to accomplish or to execute our purpose for being here. We have everything within us. Everything is with it. There's nothing behind. There's nothing being shipped from Amazon in a couple years behind us. We're not waiting for our bags at the airport, right? We're not waiting for anything. We're here, full and complete and whole. So when we understand that and we start operating from that, then we'll start to see how true that is. And so we just talked about how people who were able to find a purpose, find something that was bigger than the situation they were in, were able to do things that they could not have imagined beforehand. Right? So it really goes to show how wherever your consciousness is, that is where your body will be also. If your consciousness is on making it out or whatever you're so passionate about, if that's where your consciousness is, your body has to go there also. The physical world is not here to stop you. You're the creator of that. You're the owner of it. There is no physical world except that which you project from within you outwardly, right? There's no movie on the screen. The only movie on the screen is that which is being projected onto it. But there's no movie embedded in the screen. There's no life out here actually. It is it is a collection of what we call life, is a collection of all of us as I am expressing internally, right? And projecting. out to the external. So that means what we call reality is being projected. It's not actually a standalone thing. It's being projected from the inside out. And so we all that is why we also all see different realities, so to speak. Because what we call all of us are projecting reality, our own tailor-made personal shopper reality, because it's coming from the inside out. So we then understand with that whatever I'm seeing right now is being projected from within. If I don't want to see that, then I shut that off. So I'll stop seeing it. It will die. As soon as the movie is shut off, the screen doesn't keep playing something that's not projected on it. It can only play what's being projected on it. So the screen isn't doing anything but being used as a like almost like a mirror. Something's being projected onto it. Something's being shown on it and it's showing it back like a movie screen or like a mirror. So we get to pick the movie. We get to pick horror, comedy, romantic comedy, action, adventure, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever it is. We get to pick because we are our consciousness is the light, right? And the projector, right? And our consciousness shines on the film, on our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, and projects them onto the screen of space, onto the screen in the movie, onto what we call life. Life is the physical life is the projection of consciousness. It's a projection of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs into physical forms. So any physical forms that we don't want to see, we just withdraw our consciousness from. We stop identifying ourselves with it and as it. We stop talking about it. We stop fixating over it. We stop dating it. We stop hanging out with it. We stop entertaining it. We stop meditating on it. We stop ruminating on it. We stop thinking about it over and over, which is meditating and ruminating, right? We withdraw our attention from it. Just like if they cut the projector off, the movie's over. You cut consciousness off. You stop focusing on something and choose to focus on something else. Whatever you stop focusing on will die. The screen eventually that was lit for 2 hours will become dark again once the projector is shut off. This thing that has been living in your life for however long will die if you shut the projector off, if you shut your consciousness off, if you no longer fixate and focus on that. And then whatever you turn your consciousness with or to next, that is like the movie starting up again. But you have a new film now. So the movie is the film, the projection is the consciousness. So your consciousness is only projecting on the film. So you get to choose the film. And consciousness will play it. You get to choose the thoughts and feelings and beliefs that you're entertaining, that you're telling yourself are true. You get to do that. And when you change the film, you change what you see. You change what you experience. You change what you're hearing, what you're looking at, what you're watching. You're changing your experience. And it could be as different as a horror movie and a comedy. Your life can be that different. And rather quickly. It's like I always say, things don't take time, they take you. How long does it take for you to believe you are what you say, that you have what you say, that things are the way you say? As soon as we say we are something, or as soon as we make a declaration, I am something, or I have something, or I'm doing something, this is who I am. As soon as you say that, it's true. It's true right then. It's not true later. It's instant. But it only takes as long as it takes for you to believe that to be so, meaning to identify yourself with that, to say, okay, this is me. This is me. This is who I am now. This is how it is now. This is what it is now, whatever that may be, depending on what it is. So This is how everything is created. There's no movie that's not shown this way, right? All movies are shown the same way. They may be different movies, but all movies are shown the same way. There may be different things you're talking about, but all things come the same way. All things come from the thought world, from the non physical to the physical, the same way. They may be different things, but they all are manifested, which is manifesting is nothing but you being pushed out. It is who you are being made physical. Every thought and feeling, belief that you dominantly think, not the ones that just cross your mind, you dominantly think, the ones that you have a relationship with, the ones that you dominantly, consistently think on a day to day basis. That is your physical reality. Those things are made into physical form. As soon as you start telling yourself something different consistently, you'll start to see that old thing you told yourself starts to dissipate and the new thing starts to grow. But that ego mind can be a very tricky thing. Doesn't have to be, but it can be a very tricky thing. And it doesn't like to go down without a fight. It's not necessarily interested in new ideas, right? And your new big bright ideas. It loves to hold on to what it currently has because it has formed an association with it, an attachment with it, its own identity with this thing. I am broke or I am sick. It forms an attachment to that. Not that being broke and sick is good, but it doesn't differentiate between good or bad that way. Its only job is to identify itself, align itself with, and keep in place that which we have consistently given it, put into our conscious mind to the point that it goes from our conscious to our subconscious mind. Now our ego goes to lock that in. Hey, this is what we believe in ourselves to be. This is how we keep a stable personality, a stable character, a stable identity, is by locking in what we hear the most. Faith comes by hearing, right? Who we believe ourselves to be, what we believe ourselves to be, what we believe in as an identity or as an opportunity or as a reality comes by hearing. Present, progressive, constant, consistent. Doesn't mean necessarily every day. Sometimes a combination of every day. Other times it's just a combination of every time you talk about this thing, the same thing is said. We don't hear 2 plus 2 is 4 every day, but every time we hear 2 plus 2, we hear it's 4. But so that's just an example of we don't have to say it all the time, but every time we say it, we say the same thing. That gives us faith. Or when we first learn how to say 2 plus 2 is 4, we say it over and over and over. We're building our faith, our awareness of that. The belief in this thing, not that we know it to be true or don't, but just the belief in that thing. As adults looking back and even reflecting now, we can realize that there are things that we have beliefs that we really hold on to tightly that we realize aren't actually true. Things that we believe that aren't actually true. So we don't believe things because they're true. We believe things based on how often we hear them, how much we hear them. That's why it's so important what you tell yourself. That's why it's so important. That's why your inner dialogue is so important. That's just your constant inner conversations. Because you're constantly affirming, believing yourself to be something, and reaffirming. You're constantly keeping this food warm because thoughts can't live without consciousness. So you constantly have to remain conscious of something, of being something in order for that thing to remain alive in your world. It needs consciousness. Like a light bulb needs constant electricity to stay on. You can't say I've had the lights on for 3 days and flip the switch, turn the electricity off, and the light bulb stay on anyway because it's been on so long. No, it doesn't work like that. It's the same thing in consciousness. Habits feel that way, but they feel like we're powerless to stop it, or even if we don't think about it, it's still happening, Well, it's because our consciousness is still there, but it's there out of habit. Just like we come home to the same place out of habit. Doesn't mean we're thinking about it all day, but we just come back to the same thing out of habit because we've done this thing the most. So what we think about the most, right, is our consciousness returning to a thought. And a thought, a memory is just an old thought. But in order for us to remember something, the means we're reattaching, we are remembering. But to remember, right, to know takes consciousness. So that means we have to keep bringing our consciousness back to something in order to keep it alive or resuscitate it, to resurrect it, right? Otherwise, it dies. No thoughts, no thoughts, no thoughts are created, made alive, or kept alive without consciousness. None. Including now in the creation of them and also including now in the day-to-day interactions with them. Whatever we pull or withdraw our attention from, our consciousness from, begins to die. Just like a light bulb, as soon as you flip the switch, it goes from light to dark. It just does it so quickly we think it's all at once, but it basically just fades down because electricity, the juice stops feeding it. So it's all about where are you placing your consciousness? Where are you placing that? In what? In what thought? Is it the thought of health? Is it the thought of wealth? Is it the thought of safety? Is it the thought of prosperity, of abundance, of success? Or are you placing it in, oh no, I'm sick, I'm hurt, I'm broke, I'll never make it? Where are you placing your thoughts? Where are you placing really your consciousness? Because wherever your consciousness is, that's the light that's shining on the film. And you're making alive whatever you shine on it. You're making alive whatever you put your attention. That's why it's so important what you ruminate on, what you keep coming back to. So when you keep putting your attention on quote unquote the past, you're going to make the past the present. That's the only way the past becomes the present is if you're thinking about it right now. Otherwise, it just fades away. If you didn't remember the past, it wouldn't exist. So the only way the past exists is when we keep going back. We keep going back. We reattaching. We keep bringing our consciousness back to something and igniting it, making it alive. But every day that we go to sleep and we wake up, we have to literally live the life that we are attaching our consciousness to. Is it going to be the same things we thought yesterday, or are they going to be new thoughts? A new thought leads to a new reality, a new physical reality. Because new thoughts are a new reality in here. And what's ever in here is expressed out there. So anything out there can be changed. Anything can be changed if you're willing to change it in here. Challenges for most people, for most of us, is that anything out there can be changed if we're willing to change how we see it in here. But because of what we're seeing out there, a lot of times it stops us from going back to change it in here. We just keep our mind, our attention, our focus on look at that. I can't believe it. It's almost like looking at a car wreck and keep telling yourself you can't believe it, but you can't stop yourself from looking at it. So look at how traffic slows down on a freeway or on a street because people keep looking at it. They can't take their eyes off of it. But we're only looking at something that is self-created. It's the physical expression of what we have been thinking in here. And though we don't like it, that's the truth. And if we want to change that, what we see out there, we have to change the thing that's projecting it in here. We have to see ourselves differently or see a situation or a circumstance or a condition or a person or a thing differently in order to get a different experience with that physical thing. Otherwise, it just is what it is. and it will remain as such. It will remain as such. So these are things to know, understand, and remember. And because it's a lifestyle, what does that quote say? People need to be reminded more often than they need to be taught. People need to be reminded more often than they need to be taught. So we're constantly reminding because it is a lifestyle. And because when you look at the physical world or when you're listening to the physical world, most people are walking by sight and not by faith. Most people are consumed and driven solely by the outside world, not knowing that they created it, not knowing that it's just a projection of their inner world, of what's going on within them, the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs, the conversations, the dialogue that's going on within them. That's being pushed out into a physical expression. And then they're looking at that physical expression and they're saying, "Oh man, I don't like this." And so then it reinforces their conversation that they had. The conversation that they were having with themselves produced this thing. Then they see the thing, and then it's the thing reinforces the conversation they had. They'll say something like, "Oh, I knew it. I told you so." That's why that happens. That's why that happens. So it is important what you're telling yourself. It is important what you go to sleep telling yourself, what you wake up telling yourself. It's important what you're telling yourself all day because that is the reality in humanity. That's the reality you're experiencing is what's going on in your inner world. It's your inner world made flesh. It's your word made flesh. It's your consciousness made flesh. That's all it is. All it is. So once you understand that, you can really choose wisely about what you want to see out there because there is no out there. Just like when you go into the movie theater, if you just sat down and they never put the projector on or the film, you would just be sitting there looking at the screen and you would see nothing because the screen doesn't have a movie on it. It just projects a movie off of it. If you were to sit down, there is nothing out there. It's just projecting what's coming out of here. So that's why it's inviolable. It's of the utmost importance for you to tell yourself what's going on in here. That's why. Because if you don't choose, then the world generally chooses for you. When it rains and pours, it's not what you know, it's who you know. All the things that all the societal beliefs there that exist, you will adopt or adapt if you don't have your own. If you don't have your own. Right? So that's what we're talking about. That's what we talk about here, and that is um, what we choose to remember on a day-to-day basis is who we are. That we are a source. We're the source of all things, and that whatever I'm telling myself is true is true. Wherever I'm placing my consciousness and saying "Let there be" by assuming something to be, by taking a thought about something or someone or whatever it is and projecting that into physical form. That's what this is. That's how this works. So anything in the physical world can be changed because it's only an expression of you. It's only you pushed out. And when you change you, you change what's being pushed out. You change what's being pushed out. So you can always choose what's pushed out because you're the one pushing it out. You can change your reality, so to speak, because you're the one choosing it by who you're choosing to be. So these are the things that it's not really things. This is really what it is. This is what it is. This is the free will in human form. This is the free will you have, is the ability to choose any thought. And all thoughts exist. Anything you could ever want to do or be or have is just a physical reflection of a thought, of an idea. And so if you're willing to choose the idea of being or doing or having whatever you want, you will physically express being, doing, or having whatever you want. Whether it's money, a relationship, health, a business, whether it's always having more than enough money or always being successful in business or whatever. They're all physical outcomes are the outcomes of non-physical thought. And non-physical thought is always first. But since most of us don't really know what we're thinking, we don't realize that we are thinking. So we produce things in unconscious ignorance. We're not conscious and we don't know. Don't know that we're not conscious and don't know what we're talking about or what we're doing or what we're cooking up for ourselves. So once we get a better understanding of that and becoming more mindful and conscious about what we tell ourselves to be true, what we're choosing to think and tell ourselves and believe to be true, then we're predicting our future. Then it's that is what that's our reality. We are reality. Who we're being is reality. Who we're being is what's being projected onto the world that humanity calls reality. But humanity doesn't know it's I am. That's why we have to condition it. Just like our mind has been conditioned to believe a whole lot of other things. We've been conditioned to believe I am not. When really the truth is we are I am. But we have to condition ourselves to believe that. Most of us do. Right? There are some who believe it right away, but generally it doesn't work that way. But it can't. There's no limitations here. As soon as you're willing to believe it, you will. Hey, Alexis, back again. Wonderful. Good to see you. I trust all is well for you. Trust all is well. All is well. Justice is served. Wonderful. Always. Victory only, victory always. Choose your mind, choose your life. Change your mind, change your life. I trust you had a good day. Wonderful. Wonderful. I trust yesterday's or last night's information was helpful and you were a doer of the word and not a hearer only. Oh, look at you. Look at you. Well, all is well, justice is served. So you are you are literally in that lane now. So that means everything that's happening to you is a reflection of that lane. Everything it's so and you got to choose your lane so you know you're in the right lane. So you're in the lane of all is well. I have justice. I am victorious. So everything because you're in that lane, because you're in that state of consciousness, you now know that everything that happens, every single thing is working for your highest and best good. Every single thing is happening as a reflection of your consciousness. It's happening to prove to you that what you're thinking is true is true. That is what your consciousness is for. It's to prove to you that whatever you tell yourself is true is true. So you told yourself you're a winner. You told yourself you have justice and all is well, and you are going to see that to be true as long as you stay in that state. And that's wonderful. You got a new client today too. Oh, that's wonderful. What do you do? Oh, math and teen coaching. Oh, okay. Okay. Ah, okay. So you have a side business. Is that what you're saying? Which one day? Well, when is one day? When you say yes, which will one day be full time, when is that? Is that when you want it to be? 2026. Okay, so you want to start that in 2026 in about 2 months, month and a half. Exciting. That's wonderful. Well, then it is. You already are that now. I've aged out. Ha ha ha. Well, that just means that you no longer want that experience. You've had that, and you no longer want that experience. Well, if you can think there is, that's because there is. And whatever you think that means is true as well. So what would you so all right. So you put yes, I am no longer a victim. Do you know what that really means? What you're really saying is, I'm going to write it in the chat. What you're really saying is, yes, I am I am is no longer playing the role of victim. That's essentially what you're saying. So since I am is no longer playing that role, then that means that movie's over. That play is over. That the curtain has come down. If you want to sit in here after the movie's over and talk to your friend, you can do that, but there's no movie coming on, right? So that means you'll never see this thing again because you're no longer playing that movie's over. That's what you're saying. I am is doing everything. I am is or I am is not. I am is playing the role of I am or playing the role of I am not. But I am is playing both roles. So when you're no longer doing that, that's like turning off the electricity. The lamps go off. Doesn't matter how long the bulbs have been on. As soon as you flip that switch, light goes off. Why? Because electricity is no longer flowing to that thing. Well, as soon as you said I am no longer, I am is no longer, right? So all right, I want you to type that. I want you to type, yes, I am is no longer a victim. I want you to type that out in the chat again. But I want you to put is because I really want to impress something upon you. Right. So now when you say, I want you to see it because I want you to look at it. Yes, I am is 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 what I am is doing, being, or having. It's the role it's playing. It's what it's imagining itself to whether it's what it's being, what it's doing, what it's having. It's only a role. It's not what it is. So it's almost like when you're carrying your bag into work. That's a temporary situation. It's not who you are, it's just a temporary situation, right? So when you say I am is no longer playing, I wanted you to write it down because I want you to see really that is just a role you were playing. It's not who you are. So you can literally put yourself into or take yourself out of anything. It's not permanent as it feels. It feels permanent, like your clothes feel permanent when they're on you. But at the end, we take them off, right? But they're permanent all throughout the day. They feel like we're one with it. But at the end of the night, we take them off. We don't feel like because I had it on all day that this is me. No, we realize, oh, I had it on all day, but now I'm getting ready to do something else. So I no longer need this on. I'm taking it off. So you're saying I am is no longer a victim. You're taking off that outfit that you had on. It was just a victimhood outfit. It's not good or bad. It's just no longer the outfit that you wanted to have. Or you put on a shirt one time, you're like, this doesn't really look the way I want to look for where I'm going. Or this doesn't really fit the way I thought it would fit. So you take it off, right? How is that? How is what? Okay. I am is playing the role as financially free. Yes. So when you're saying I am is playing the role as financially free, you're saying you would say I am financially free. I am financially free. You're playing the role. That means you're aware of being something. You're saying I am putting my awareness on being this. I want, like when you're I am is playing the role financially free. That's like literally seeing a lamp in your house and realizing the cord is on the ground, it's not plugged into the light. So when you take that plug and you plug it into the wall, what happens? The lamp comes on. But that cord is there the whole time, but it's not playing the role. It's not plugged in. So your consciousness is not plugged into financial freedom, then it's like you have the ability to be, but the cord's not plugged into the wall. You have the ability to be, but your awareness is not plugged into being. So now when you say I am is financially free, when you say I am is playing the role, it's literally like saying I am plugging the cord into the wall. So when I plug this cord into the wall, the lamp comes on. When I plug this awareness into financial freedom comes on. Because consciousness is the electricity that lights up the state, that lights up the lamp, right? It is because everything is from the inside being pressed out. You have to be lit from the inside. Where's the bulb, right? It's being lit from the inside out. Electricity is coming from the inside of the wall out through the plug, up into the lamp, right? But you have to plug yourself into it. So the plug is your humanity plugging into your awareness of being. And then your awareness of being turns it around and flows that power back through your humanity as a bowl being bright, as a life being bright. And so when I asked you when you wanted to do your thing, you can say 2026. It doesn't matter when you say it because humanity does time. I am does not. I am is always going to be I am. Whether it's I am or I am in 2026, it's always I am. It's always present right now. So all time is present right now, just like all of creation is finished right now. So you can say, whether you want to say 2026 or you can say I am, I'm in math and what did you say? I'm a math and teen coach. You can start identifying yourself like that right now, right? It doesn't mean that you have to physically do anything different. You just identify yourself as that. I am that. And your awareness knows it, all timing and everything. It knows what you want when you mean. If you feel like you don't want to start it right now, it knows that, right? But shoot, why not get used to it? Why not? Hey, I'm a math and teen coach. I'm financially free. As soon as you have a desire, Neville Goddard always says, as soon as you have a desire, now's the time to embody it. Embody it immediately. Immediately start telling yourself that's who you are. And your awareness has ways and means. It moves everything for you to see that in physical form. Because all you're doing is hopping into another lane that exists. Like I talked about yesterday, it's just a bunch of freeway, and there's a bunch of lanes. And so when you're in this lane, it's cool. But as soon as you're in this lane right now. You are that right now. And so now you're going forward, but you're not going forward in this lane, you're going forward in this lane. As soon as you get in that lane, you're in it. Even if it's only for 1 second, you're in that lane. And you just are going forward in that lane now. So you are, right, a math and teen coach. You are financially free. You are everything that you want to be as soon as you become aware of being it. As soon as you become aware of being it, you are whatever you want to be. Whatever you want to be is waiting on you. You're not waiting on it. The lamp is just waiting for you to plug it into the wall. Or the lamp is just waiting for you to flip the switch. The lamp is already there. You wouldn't plug it into the wall if there was no lamp there. You couldn't plug it in. You wouldn't flip the switch if there was no lamp there. For what? Why would you do it? So you wouldn't have a desire if it didn't already exist. You wouldn't have a desire if the flip wasn't already right. You wouldn't have a desire if the plug couldn't be plugged in. You wouldn't have a desire if there was no switch to flip. You wouldn't have it. So your desire just means it's letting you know that there is something that you can plug into, that you can turn your awareness and say, oh, I'm this now. By identifying yourself in mind as that which you desire to be, by identifying yourself in mind as that now, you are that now. You're that right away. Just like when you get into the next lane on the freeway, you're that in that lane right now. Doesn't matter if you're in the other lane for 3 hours. As soon as you get in this next lane, you're in that lane. You're in that lane. That's the lane you're in because that's the lane you're in. As soon as you identify yourself with that, as soon as you plug that thing into the wall, the lamp comes on. As soon as you flip that switch, the lamp comes on. As soon as you identify yourself with that in mind, that's what you are. That is what you are. So that's wonderful. Math and teen coaching, that is wonderful. That is, well, guess what? Just like you're doing whatever you're doing now, you're doing that. I am is doing both. So it doesn't. So it's not like you have to be a new person. You just make a new choice. But a new choice is a new you because there's a you doing it and there's a you not doing it. So it's all you. So you just get to choose another version of yourself, another aspect of yourself. Just like you may be a mother or you may be a daughter, you may be a sister, you may be a granddaughter, you may be an aunt, you may be a niece, you may be whatever, but all of them are still you. It's just you playing different roles. That's what I am. It's just you playing different roles. Different roles as 8 billion people, different roles as Alexis being whatever you are now, being the math and the teen coach, being it is still I am playing all the roles. And you get to choose what role you play next. That is what free will represents, is the ability to choose. We're not creating anything. Creation is finished. It's the ability to choose or select what part of creation you experience by what you identify yourself with. And you say, okay, I want the part of me that is a math and a teen coach. Okay, that's what I am. I have a business as a math and a teen coach. Now, if I am has a business as a math or a teen coach, if I am, right, if God, I am God, if God, the universe, source, had a business as a math and a teen coach, how would that business go? What would be, how would that business go? As I am, how would that business go? Right. Not as Alexis, but as I am. So that, and I say that to make the distinction in the sense of, in truth, there is no separation, but we separate them out to understand why we would think one or the other. In our humanity, we may think, oh, we have to do something, this, we have to do that, we have to work 2 to 5 years before it gets off the ground, or we have to wait because we don't have the money, or I am doesn't wait because I am is always now. So when I wanted to kind of separate them, it's almost like peanut butter and jelly. That's like my favorite sandwich. So you make them apart, but you put them together to have the true experience. But when you pull them apart, you can see that they are different, but they go together in order to have the one experience. It's the only way you have an experience. You're not having the true experience if they're by themselves. You can eat them both, but if they're by themselves, they're not the same. You have to put them together. So excellent results. I am, but if I am had a business, what would the business be like? If I am had clients, what would they be like? If I am was paid by their clients, how would that go? If I am had a business, I am would have to have clients. So if I am's business would have excellent results, that means I am has excellent results as a business with its clients, the interaction between both, all of those things. I want you to think as I am with your business, right? You are Alexis. The goal, as we're awakening, is to say that I and my Father are one, that Alexis and I am are one, right? The Father is just personified as consciousness, right? I am. Do you think would I am have any problem getting money? Would I am have any problem getting clients? Would I am have any problem being successful? Would I am's business be slow at any point? Would I am's business be subject to recession or depression? Would I am be worried about bad reviews? Would I am have a struggle teaching its clients? Would I am's clients um, not respect it or appreciate it or prioritize it or choose it? Right? Well, that is so. However, I am would have a business. That's how you identify your business because you and I am are one. You identify yourself as that. Whatever I am's business is, that's what my business is because I am, Alexis and I am, Alexis and the concept of myself are one, right? So whatever you would say I am's business is like, that is what your business is like. And your business will literally be like that. What I am suffer in a depression and a recession, what I am have any problems at all with clients, with getting clients, keeping clients, what I am struggle to get them, what I am struggle to keep them, what I am struggle to teach them, what I am struggle to be respected and prioritized and chosen, what I am be anything but successful effortlessly and easily. Reasonably, the answer is no. So then that means everything that we would say for I am, we identify ourselves as that. That's how you identify, that is how you talk about your business. Only as I am. You talk unconditioned, unlimited, because you are I am. You are perfect, unconditioned, unlimited. Per meaning completely. Fect meaning whole, to make or to do whole, to make or do complete. Perfect is a compound word, right? Yes, yes, right? Because you need to think as highly of yourself as you are. How does I am think about itself? Do you think I am doesn't know what to think? Do you think I am doesn't know how to think? Do you think I am would think anything differently but the best of itself and of everything that it did? Do you think I am would have a uh, um, I would have imposter syndrome? Do you think I am would struggle in any way? Right? Right? No. So if whatever you would say God is, I am is. Whatever I am is, you are. You literally identify yourself. So this is what I want you to do. I'm gonna I'm gonna put it on a card so you can see it, and then you're going to do this for yourself. And I'm gonna draw a line first, but I want you to erase the line on the other side. But I want you to start it off as this. I want you to put business, but you can swipe this out for anything. You can put business, you can swipe, but we'll do business for the sake of this example. But you can put business, you can put health, you can put money, you can put relationships, you can put anything. You put the title up there. Then you put I am, right? Which is God is, right? I am God. You say to yourself, okay, if God had a business, how would it go? So under this, you would say, God had a business, how would it go? And you would say, well, God would win, be successful, whatever it wanted would probably happen. Probably have, if it needed clients, it would have all the clients it wanted. It would get paid what it wanted to get paid. Everything would be that way. Well, whatever you said over here, you now write over here. You literally copy whatever's over here and you now put I am God and you put Alexis on this side. So whatever you said over here, it would go perfect. It would be well. It would be, you literally copy everything over here. You copy it over here now under Alexis. Alexis is having the same experience as I am. There's a line just for the sake of this side. Whatever's over here, I want you to start on this side. I am. If I am out of business, how would it go? Would there be any drama? Would there be any doubt? Would it be afraid of not working? Would it take 6 months to work? Would it have to bankrupt itself and hope to find clients? How would it go for God? How would it go for I am? All right, Alexis, whatever you said over here, you're going to write that it goes the same way for you, right? It goes the same. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. So whatever you wrote over here, you're now going to write over here. Then you're going to turn it over and you're going to do the same thing. And you're going to basically take the line out and whatever I want you to do it like this. Whatever you wrote on here as I am, you're gonna write over there as Alexis. Then you're gonna turn it over and take the line out. And then everything you put as Alexis over here, right? You're now just gonna write it almost like a paragraph over here. So Alexis has a marvelous business. Alexis's clients love what she has to offer, love to pay her what she wants, and loves to refer others who do the same. Alexis' business is effortless and easy. And everything that you put on this side, You are now going to have it with no barriers, that you and that Alexis and I am are one. And this is going to be your business plan. This is going to be your mission statement. This is going to be your vision. You are predicting your future. You are saying, let there be. You are declaring what your business is going to be, how it's going to go for you, be for you, and everything. That's what you're going to do. And every day you're going to read from that. You're going to read from that. You're going to read it like a story to yourself. Alexis business, my business is like this. It goes like this. It's like this. My clients love me and respect me and love what I have to offer. Love to pay me what I want. Love to refer others who do the same. Each referral is better than the next. You know, I always get paid on time and up front. I always get the best results. Always have the best testimonials. I'm always loved and chosen and cherished and prioritized, as is my business. Everything is always going well for me. I'm never affected by anything externally. I'm internally driven. I always have more than enough clients. Always have more than enough of my good. Like that, and you just literally read this to you. You literally read it until you can memorize it. And this is it. Because I say this about my business. I say this about myself. That's what I say about myself. That's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I'm living it. This is not like an outfit I put on for 2 hours and I go off and just live a completely alternate life. No, I live what I'm saying. Whether it's right or wrong, I could be dead wrong, but nobody will ever call me a liar. They will never say that they didn't see me living what I'm saying. Now, I could be wrong, but everybody was like, but he wasn't a liar though, right? So I literally say these things to myself about my business, that I'm loved, I'm cherished, I'm chosen, I'm prioritized. Everybody wants to learn from me. Everybody gets what they need from me. I always have the perfect answer for every person. Everybody loves to listen to what I have to say. They do what I'm telling them to do, and they get the benefits, and they always come back with testimonials and referrals. They're always loving to pay me what I want, loving to refer others to do the same. Each client that refers is better than the last one, right? Stuff like that. Yeah, practice over and over. How do you think you learned your name? How do you think you learned the name Alexis? The first time you heard that as a baby, did you know what they were saying? Did you know? Did you care? Did you believe it? No, right? But after a while, they kept saying Alexis over and over, and finally you were like, I guess that's me, because ain't nobody around, and every time I'm around, they keep telling me that, so I keep hearing that, and they looking at me, so I guess that's me. Well, it's the same thing. Faith comes by hearing. So you keep telling yourself, you believe what you hear. It's not that it's true or not true. It's just you believe it to be true because you keep hearing it. So when you keep telling yourself this, your business is literally going, you are the business. You are the business. The words are an expression of you. So if the words are expression of you, and and your actions are expression of your words, and your actions produce your outcomes, the outcomes are expression of you. Well, you already know who you are because you wrote it down. You already know who you are because you're telling yourself. So you're already predicting your future. You're already guaranteeing your success. No, I don't need time. All I need is me. If I am had a business, how long would it take to be successful? That's what you tell yourself. Well, God would be successful right away. That's what you tell yourself. You literally tell yourself that everything that God is, however this would go for God, it goes for you. However it goes for I am, it goes for you. You are I am. You are source. You are. So however it would go for that, I just split it so that you could see, so that you would feel comfortable saying, as this side, you would feel comfortable saying, yeah, if it was I am, it would be perfect and it'd be wonderful. Yeah, I just put you on the witness stand. Everything you said will be held accountable. You'll be held accountable and it'll be held against you, right? And so whatever you said over here, you say over here. Then you turn it over and you just write it out almost like a paragraph. Or a bullet points, whatever's easiest for you to read. But you write it out. You are literally, you are saying, this is the way it is. Let there be. You're made in the image and likeness. You're imagining. And you always imagine ahead of your evidence. The idea always comes before the outcome. So you already are guaranteeing your outcome because you are speaking the idea. If this side over here wouldn't struggle, you don't struggle. If this side is always successful, you're always successful. If this side is successful right away, this side. Whatever you put over here, you put over here. Now, I made you separated because I want you to tell the truth. Over here, you know there ain't nothing wrong. Can't nothing ever be wrong over here. Everything is perfect. Well, that's the same thing. That's the same intention. That's the same acceptance. That's the same allowance. That's the same expectation you live with. That if nothing could ever be wrong over here, then nothing is ever wrong over here. That if everything is always perfect and always what you want it to be, then everything over here is the same. You live with the same expectation. And you write that over here now as one. The two are one flesh. The word made flesh. Your words are going to be made your experience. They're going to be your flesh. They're going to be what you feel, taste, touch. That's how it goes. I mean, I'm fired up for you. I done got myself fired up. I need to take your thing. What is it? So I can take it because I'm excited about it myself now. That's what this is. That's how you do that. And you do it your own way, but I'm just giving you an example of how to say, okay, if I could believe that this could be perfect, if I was talking about something else, well, I know I'm talking about me. And if this is perfect, I am God. If I am and source is perfect, well, Alexis is perfect because I am is Alexis. I am is Alexis. Alexis is the word made flesh. It is the you before you got in that body. That's who you are. Yes. Yes. And so whatever you would attribute to God, you attribute to Alexis. Because Alexis and I am are one. So if God is perfect and God's business is perfect and God's business would be caking and cooking and be up there, you could be just balling out of control, that's what your business is. That's what you tell yourself. I am caking, cooking, and balling out of control. And you read that to yourself every day before you go to sleep. You read that to yourself every day. That's right, PB and J, put it together. Right? This is one side, this is the other side, and the other side, you put it together. It's my favorite sandwich, apricot jelly, my favorite. Peanut butter and apricot jelly, my favorite. Right? And you put them together. Boy, and you sit there, man, that sandwich, I close my eyes, boy, like it's some kind of $3,000 steak when I eat it. Tastes so good. Well, that's the same thing you're gonna feel about your business. When you're writing that out, you're gonna feel it. It's not emotion like it's out of control. No, you're just going to emotionalize the thought that you are intoxicating you with. Almost like when there's smoke in the air. At first you smell it a little bit and then you see it and you smell it, but then it expands, right? Yes, I always want to add things to the morning, but before I go to sleep, yes, because it's the same thing. That part of your mind that produces is what they would call the woman or the subconscious mind. That part of your mind is most vulnerable right when you go to sleep and right when you first wake up. So as you're falling asleep, your conscious mind, the male, is like a security guard is off duty. The bodyguard is off duty. So now it's easier to impart, right? It's easier for the things you're saying to sink into to that part of your mind, your subconscious mind, the part you can't see. It's easier to sink into that, the part that you're less aware of, but that's your habit mind. That's where all the thoughts that you've been thinking long enough become habit. That's why when you first did makeup, it looked crazy, right? And you didn't know how to do it. But then now you can do makeup and drive your car. Or when we first learned to drive, we can do so many things now after we've been driving for a while that we couldn't do at first. It's because of habit, right? So when you're first going to sleep, that guard, that male, that conscious part of your mind is abated. That's why you're slipping out of consciousness into unconsciousness. So when you're falling asleep saying that, you're now getting to put the seed into the ground. You're getting to put that thoughts into that part of your mind that when it's impressed with a thought, and with that thought and the emotion you have, that thought like, oh man, my business, I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm rich, and I have all my clients, and this is easy, and I never have to struggle, and I'm out here winning. Oh my God. That thought and that feeling, you're pressing into that part of your mind and into your subconscious mind. And that's what impresses. That's why it says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. That's why it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, it's talking about your subconscious mind. It's talking about that aspect of your mind in your heart. It's talking about your mind. It's talking about that aspect of the depth of your being. And that is what is always expressing out. So when you do that going to sleep, and then when you do that as soon as you wake up, the first about 5 minutes or so, but while you're still coming back through the different levels of consciousness, while you're impressing that in, it's a cheat code. You're getting it in there faster, right? It's like the security guard standing out there and you create a distraction. Hey, look over there. And they walk over there and you sneak in to the club. It's kind of like that, right? When your consciousness is abated, you slipping out of it, you're slipping into subconscious, into the other lower levels of your consciousness. And that's why you fall asleep saying this to yourself, right? You read it till you fall asleep with it. And you wake up with it right next to your bed like, hold your eyes open if you have to. But you make that some of the first things that you say. And watch. Watch. You have no idea in your humanity how this will all come together for you. But you are aligning all the things. Your business is a physical reflection of you. And if you are being successful, if I am is playing the role of successful business owner, what do you think is going to happen? That's what's happening over here, right? I am is playing the role of successful business owner. And Alexis and I am are one. So I am is a successful business owner as Alexis. You're one. I am as a successful business owner called Alexis. Alexis is a successful. Whose business is this? Mine. Who is that? Who is that? Me. I am. Yeah, I am and Alexis are one. Yes. Yes. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Right? When I work with business owners, especially entrepreneurs, their biggest, well, any person really, but entrepreneurs' biggest problem is they try to they try to physically labor or work themselves into an outcome that they are not consciously aware of being. So they try to make themselves a success while they see themselves as something as struggling. Wait, have you ever heard people say I'm a starving artist or they're a struggling artist? Well, if you're a starving or struggling artist, what kind of painting do you think you're going to create? If you ask someone to cook for you and they said I'm a struggling starving chef, right? You'd be like, well, then you probably can't cook. So then why would you be interested in them cooking? What do you think they're going to cook for you that you're going to like? So most entrepreneurs, when I work with them, one of the first things I really have to get them to hone in on is the truth. And the truth is you are your first business. What you think of you, you are expressing through an aspect called business, a part of yourself called business, through a part of yourself called female, through a part of yourself called daughter, called mother. Those are all you. They're just different aspects of you. Almost like you are this. You are the son. You are I am. But now when you become Sharice, you become a woman, you become a business owner, you become an employee, you become a daughter, you become a niece, you become a wife. All of these things, all of these things right here are of your expressions but coming from here. This is I am. I am. And everything is coming out of I am. I am a mother. I am a daughter. I am a wife. I am a business owner. I am crazy. It's I am, and the expressions are the raised, but they're all coming out of you. You are the business. You're the business. So whatever this is, stuff like that. Can I am be stretched too thin? Before I answer that, let me make sure I understand what you mean. What do you mean by that? No, not unless you believe that to be true, not unless you believe that to be possible, and then believe it to be factually true for you at any point. Everything is a belief. But what does it say? With God, all things are possible. All things are possible to Him. All things are possible to the humanity that believes. All things are possible. So, yes, it's possible to be stretched too thin. It's possible to not be stretched too thin, to never be stretched too thin. Is it possible like it has to be? No. But it's possible because I am is able to do all things. But would it choose to be stretched too thin? No. Would it choose to believe that it could happen to that? No. What did that Christ mind say? No man takes my life from me. I have the power to lay it down and take it up again. Right? I can do all things through that Christ, through that mind that strengthens me. No. It's only if that's what you believe to be true. And who would believe that to be true? What I am believe it's stretched too thin? Or who would believe that to be true? What's possible and what's true for us are different things. All things are possible because I am creates all things, but I am doesn't select that. Correct. Don't entertain any thought you don't want to be true. Who would entertain that? Would I am entertain the thought of being stretched too thin? Could I am be stretched? I am is everything. I am is source. I am everything is made up of I am. I am is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. It is everywhere, all the time, all powerful, all knowing. So, how can it be stretched too thin if it's the creator of everything? Everything is made up of I am. So, it can't even be possible to be stretched too thin. Only humanity can believe that because only humanity can be stretched too thin by believing that for itself. Stretched too thin is just an experience because there are some people who are and there are some people who aren't, right? So then it's only an experience. So it's only so, but that means if you can or you can't, it's only an experience. So it's changeable, which means it's an illusion. It's not a fact. It's not truth. If it's changeable, it's not the truth. It's not a law. It's not something that has to be. It's an illusion. So it can or can't be. It can be or it cannot be. Just like yesterday, you went from defeat to today, your victory. So defeat yesterday was what? An illusion. It was just something that you were entertaining a thought you didn't want to be true. Do you know what entertaining thoughts you don't want to be true cause? Entertaining thoughts you don't want to be true. What does that cause? Yep. Stress, worry, fear, doubt. Why? Well, anxiety is nothing but, yeah, stress, worry, fear, doubt, but you only got them because you entertaining them. What is so if you did not if you were not entertaining them, would they be present? Would they exist in your life? So then they only exist because you're entertaining them. What is entertaining them? What is entertaining them? What are you doing that's a reflection of entertaining them? Yes. Well, what are you doing to talk about it? Before you talked about it, you had to do what? Think about it. And before or along with thinking about it, what's making you think about it? Because you are giving it your attention. Your attention is entertaining. Have you ever been sitting somewhere with someone and maybe you walked into another room? You guys were watching TV together and you got up and walked into the kitchen and you went to get something to drink. And then you called out to that person, "Hey, do you want something to drink?" And they were still watching the show that you were watching and they didn't hear you. And so you called them several times. But the body's right there. You're watching it. You're watching them. You're looking right at them, but you keep calling them. Why do you keep calling them? Or you keep calling them until you get what? Yes. So since they're distracted, you don't have their attention. Their attention is them. Your attention is you. Your attention is you. Your consciousness, what you're focused on is called attention. What consciousness is focused on is called attention. Consciousness is you. So wherever you are putting your consciousness is your attention. So wherever you're putting your attention, it's like plugging the plug in. You're saying, let there be. You're giving light to it. So anxiety and stress is nothing but you putting your attention on a thought that you don't want. You're entertaining, you're putting your consciousness into a thought. The thought cannot exist without you putting your consciousness into it. Any more than a light bulb can light up without you flipping the switch or plugging the thing in the wall. It's innocuous. It has no power at all. Anxiety, stress, worry, fear, doubt have no power by themselves. They need your consciousness. They need you to light it up with your attention. If you withdraw your attention from any situation, it's like pulling the plug out or flipping the switch the other way. It dies. Period. 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 Your attention is you. So wherever you place your attention, that is what you're going to talk about. That's what you're going to think about. That's what you're going to talk about. And if you place your attention on something that you don't want to be true, then what are you going to do now? Complain. Yeah, I'm sure you've experienced it. We all have. Because it's a natural, it's what happens. We are going to talk about what we are thinking about. And we are going to think about what we're placing our attention on. And we're going to place our attention on whatever it is that we do, whatever we're choosing, whether that's in ignorance or in wisdom. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So what we do here is choose where we do that. Because you've experienced that, you understand how important your attention is now. And what we do here is choose where you do it. You become a better driver. You stop getting distracted. You stop looking this way, trying to drive that way. You realize you have to put your eyes on the direction you're going. You can't look at that and want that. You can't look at stress, put your attention on something. You can't look at a thought, put your attention on a thought of what you don't want and get what you do want. You can't do it. So when you say I've experienced that, yes, you have learned that if you put your attention in the wrong way and you keep entertaining thoughts, yes, you have to be very intentional about what you consume. But not only that, but what you are telling yourself internally, what you are telling yourself and believing yourself and feeling for yourself to be true. Your internal dialogue is the most important thing. That's why I say the most important thing as a business owner is realizing first and foremost that you are the business, that the business that you are trying to create physically is going to be nothing but a physical expression of the internal business here. It's going to be nothing but the physical expression of what you're telling yourself to be true. First about yourself, and therefore the self of you is now wants to have an experience called a business. So the self of you, whatever that self of you, whatever you believe that self of you to be, is going to express itself in a thing called a business. It's just one of these lines. Whatever I am believes itself to be, it's shooting out, and whatever that is a business, is a daughter, is a wife, is a niece, is a granddaughter, I am is always expressing itself in different aspects because that's the experience it's having. It's to know itself as all that is. Yes. Yes. Always think about from now on, I want you to practice making a concerted effort. When you have a decision to make, or when you're thinking about something, when you are deciding, decidere, it's a Latin word, it means to cut off. I think we talked about it last night. It means to cut off. So when you're getting ready to make a choice is first. You choose something. When you choose something, when you go to a store and you choose this gallon of milk, you have cut it off from the other gallons of milk you didn't pick. You have separated it from all that exists. You have made one choice. When you do that, now a decision is kicked in. You have separated, you have cut it off from everything else that it was once with. So I want you to think about it like this. Anytime you are getting ready to make a choice about something, I want you to think about it and say to myself, okay, how would I am think about this? How would I am think about this situation? What would I am? Because I am, it has all possibilities. I am is the creator. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Everything and everyone on it. So I am has everything. With God, all things are possible. So I have access to everything. I'm unlimited. I am is unlimited. I am is unconditioned. So when I get ready to make a choice, I know that I can choose anything because that's who I really am. That's who I am. So then what would I am choose? What would I choose from all choices? What would I decide from all decisions? What would I pick from all possibilities? What would I am pick? And start learning how to pick that. Start learning to say, I pick that. When you pick that, what does that mean? You start identifying yourself as that choice. Alexis might feel a little afraid to say that I want to be a millionaire. But would I am be afraid to say it? Absolutely not. So then you start saying, well, then I don't need Alexis to say it. I'll just say it as I am then. And I will let Alexis identify herself as I am. I'll let Alexis just copy what I am said to itself. Yeah, I'm with her. I'm what I am. Whatever she said, right? Whatever goes here, so that it ends like this. There is no line anymore. We're together. We're together. The two have become one flesh. The two have become one flesh. That's all it is. So I want you to start making decisions for that. I want you to make a conscious effort. And the more you do it, the more you'll do it. The more you do it, the more you'll do it. You start catching yourself in more moments. You start catching yourself thinking something as just Alexis and then realizing, well, wait a minute, what I am think what Alexis is thinking? If it's cool, if the answer is yes, then you roll. If it's not, you be like, oh, okay, I've separated myself. I've left I am over there, so to speak, and I thought I'm just Alexis, but Alexis can think that, but I am wouldn't think that. Alexis can say I'm broke, but I am would never say that. So then when I'm fixing to say that as Alexis, I realize I've separated myself. I've started thinking that I'm something different than I am. I'm not that. I am. I am not that. I am not just Alexis, a physical body. No, I am. Playing the role of Alexis, but I am. So let me make this decision as I am, because I have way more resources as I am than I do as a finite physical experience called Alexis. It's finite. It's limited. It only lasts for so long. I am lasts forever. So make choices for Alexis as I am, so that Alexis can get all the resources that I am has and have all the experiences that I am can provide as Alexis. Right? So once you do that more, you'll do it more. You'll start catching yourself separating, believing to be different. No, you'll be like, oh, no, let me put this back. No, I don't want to eat this. I know the sandwiches need to go together. No, well, why don't you just eat it to be? No, they go together. There's not peanut butter and jelly. It's not meant to be eaten by itself. We make it by itself, but it's the same. No, it's peanut butter and jelly. It's not peanut butter and then jelly. It's not peanut butter or jelly. No, they're both. When you start doing that, just make a conscious effort. Make a conscious effort, right? And just start telling yourself you do. Before I make any decision, you start telling yourself something like, before I make any decision, I always consult I am. Meaning I always remember I am. I always choose to think as I am before I make any decision. Any decision that you deem important or valuable, you make it. And then after a while, you just make any decision. Do I want to eat this as I am? Do I want to be here as I am? Do I want to think that as I am? Do I want to watch this as I am? Do I want to say that as I am? Do I want to wear that as I am? Because that's what I am. And the more I remember it, the more I'll realize, the more you realize you start picking all kind of stuff. You'll end up in places that Alexis would never have went. But I am has got Alexis going all kind of places. And Alexis is rolling now because her and I am are one. You went from just I am and Alexis in a line to the two becoming one. I am and Alexis are one. So Alexis gets all the benefits I am has. I am owns everything. I am has all the money. I am has all the answers. How could it be stretched too thin when it has all the answers? How could it be stretched too thin when it's omnipresent? It's everywhere at the same time. How could it be stretched too thin when it's omnipotent, all powerful? Who's going to stretch it too thin? Whatever would stretch it too thin, it made. So how could it stretch it too thin? How could the thing I am made stretch it too thin? See, only humanity would think that. Only humanity would think that way. And so it's just a good barometer to let us know which are we operating from. Our human identity or our divinity, our true nature. Our true nature can never be stretched too thin by what? It created everything. Nah, never. Only our humanity would believe that to be the case, or even possible. But that's because our humanity can be stretched too thin. But that's because it's a finite thing. It doesn't live forever, so it can be stretched too thin. It needs to take a nap. I am doesn't take a nap. That's why we dream when we're asleep, because I am ain't sleep. Only the body is. Yeah. Isn't it wonderful? That's why I'm so excited. Isn't it wonderful to know the truth and to start applying it and start telling yourself and reminding yourself of who you are, that you are source, that you are all that is, that whatever you say goes. You are I am, and I am owns everything and everyone. It never sleeps, never sleeps. I never sleep or slumber, right? What does it say in the book? It says, I never sleep or slumber, oops, or slumber. Yeah. What does it say? Um, it says Psalms 121:4, right? What does it say? Behold, he that keeps Israel shall neither sleep nor slumber. If anybody remembers, that's right. I am to who, amen to I am, to who I am, right? I am never sleeps or slumbers. Behold, I am that keeps Israel shall never sleep nor slumber. Israel, as remember, are the children of God. The children of God are those who remember in human form who you are, that you are I am. That's what a child, that's what Israel means. It's a tripartite word, Isis, Ra, and El, the mother, father, God. But it's basically talking about the male female aspect, consciousness and unconsciousness, the thought and the emotion of the thought. Welcome, Brent. Good to have you. Um, but it's talking about, behold, look, I am who keeps Israel, who keeps the child, who keeps you, the human who knows who it is, who keeps the human in form, who knows I am, that I am, I am. Humanity is I am in flesh. So when you remember who you are, that you're a child, you're Israel. You're a child of Israel. You're a child of I am, right? Behold, he who I am who keeps Israel will neither sleep nor slumber. Doesn't sleep. That's why you dream. Because you are not asleep. And how could you remember your dream if it wasn't you dreaming? You can't make it up. Brent and Alexis are the physical form of I am. Brent and Alexis are I am made flesh, the word made flesh. And who said the word? I am. And who is I am? Consciousness. Consciousness speaks words that become physical things. And you are I am. Don't you say I am Brent? I am Brent. I am Alexis. So then you are I am. So whatever I am says goes literally. Your words become your flesh, become physical forms. They become your situations. They become your circumstances. They become they become all things in your physical sensory five sense world. That's why what you say is so important, because it is verbal. It's a verbal expression of what you are thinking. And that is who you are, as consciousness. And consciousness thinks. And whatever it thinks becomes physical form. So when you think that you're a successful business owner, when you think that you're a great wife or a great husband or a great father or a great mother or a great brother or a great sister or a great son or a great daughter, when you identify yourself as that, when you are consciously aware of being that, by telling yourself that's what you are, that is what's going to be expressed in physical form. That's going to be your experience. Who knows what, uh, you know how people say be blessed or I am blessed? Who knows what blessed means? Or blessing? Who knows what that means? Anybody have any ideas? Good. I'm glad you're getting something from it, because you know how we say it. It's Tuesday. Well, it's Saturday right now, but it's Tuesday, right? We are gearing up so that when we close this laptop, when we get off this phone or whatever it may be, right? So the question was, Who knows what blessed means or blessing? Who knows what that means? When people say be blessed or God is blessing me or God bless, who knows what the word blessed, blessing, blessed, who knows what that means? Anybody know or have any ideas? Good is yours. Blessing means to sprinkle blood. So to sprinkle blood basically means like when people have a blood oath, right? They have an agreement. It means basically to set yourself apart in the, yes, right? Most people don't know what words mean. Most people, let me back up. Let me back up. All right. Let me ask you another question. Alexis, let me ask you a question. And Brett, you can answer too. If you're still here, you can answer too. What does the word nice mean? Let me back up. What does the word nice mean? You should have known because you're nice. I should know because you're nice. Okay. Okay. All right. Alexis, I want you to go. I want you to go on Google and I want you to go into the etymology dictionary. Etymology is the original definition of a word, the true definition of a word, as far back it was ever used. What does the word nice actually mean? So I want you to go online and look up the etymology dictionary online. And I want you to put in the word nice. And then I want you to, I want you to type in here just maybe the first two words of what the definition is. And you tell me if it's what you thought it was. I think you'll change your mind. Etymology dictionary online. Go on to Google, etymology dictionary online, put in the word nice. Yes. Did you know that? It's a compound word. It means knee, and the CE comes from the word sire, or what people call science, right? And knee means no or not. Sire means knowledge. The word science means knowledge. So it means not knowledgeable, it means foolish, ignorant, stupid. That's what nice means. That's the etymological, that is the denotative word, the complete note. That's what the word actually means. Nice, the way we know it, is a connotative word. It means we're all using this word as an agreement that we understand that we're talking about the same thing. That's not what the word means. Right? One more word. What do you think the word smart means? You're going to look it up in the same etymology dictionary, but before you do, tell me what you think the word smart means. Okay, now look it up. Look at this word smart. Same dictionary. Look up the word smart. Intelligent, knowledge and stuff. Okay. Knowing stuff. All right. What does it mean now that you've looked it up? To pain, to cause hurt. Yep. Exactly what smart means. Smarting. It means in pain, hurting. To cause pain or hurt. That's what smart means. To cause pain or hurt. Right? So I brought those two up because a lot of things we think we know, we don't really know. But we're basing our whole lives on them. So we're basing an entire life on limited knowledge. We're basing our lives, our decisions, we're basing what we think is the truth on something that's not even the truth. Right? So now, blessed. Blessed means to sprinkle blood. It means, like when they have a blood oath, right? Or when they consecrate something. It means you use blood to consecrate something, to separate it out from something else. To say, I have an agreement with you. right? So when God bless something, it is not a, it's not a, it is a, it is a, it's an agreement that you have with God about something. It's an agreement that you have, right? Um, it's an agreement that you have. If you're separated, you are taken out of a situation based on an agreement that you have. It's a both agreement you have. That's spring means the both is in life with life, in life as a human, with life as I am. It's an agreement. It's a blood oath. It is to say I have an agreement with you. You are blessed. I have blessed you. I am in agreement with you. That's why they will sprinkle blood on the altar, right? It's an agreement about what it is you're doing. That's what blessed means. It's an agreement with God about something, or just in general, life in general. That's what blessed means. It means you're in agreement with God. How could you be in agreement with God if you're broke? If you say I'm broke, if you say I'm sick, if you identify yourself as that. We have moments that we don't feel well. We have moments that our leg is hurt. I'm talking about what we identify with as an identity, not a moment of pain or discomfort, but I'm talking about as an identity. How can we? How? What does it say? I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Yeah. So a lot of things that we're believing to be true is ignorance. People don't know what words mean. People don't know what a lot of things that they believe in actually mean. And we're not talking about semantics, but we're just saying what the word gives you a belief that causes your intention. Oh, if the word means this, then I can do this with it. Well, if the word doesn't mean that, then how do you know you can do that with it? Or how do you know that there's not something else you can do with it? There's a different intention that you can create when you have a different level of knowledge and understanding. Yeah. Yeah. You can still I could say I'm nice. I just know what I mean. I know that I'm using it to communicate with someone else something that they don't, that they'll under in a way that they understand. But no, I'm not stupid, foolish, or ignorant. I'm not smarting. I'm not in pain or causing pain. I'm right, but people wouldn't even know what that meant. Blessed, same thing. So many words that, because of the way we define things, it dictates our intention, and our intention dictates our direction, and our direction dictates our outcome, where we end up. Do you know the word apple was used to describe all fruit for a long time? I mean, there's so many things about things that people don't know, whether it's about law, health, history. So, but we have such limited information, insufficient, incorrect, and we're living our lives on the information we have, and it's not even correct. It's not even sufficient. It's deficient. Just blatantly, a lot of it is just pure incorrect, right? So that's why it's so important, the information you have. Yes, the etymology. It is basically the definition of words as far back as they were ever used. It's the denotative meaning, meaning D meaning complete and note, meaning it's the complete definition. It's not the connotative. It's not how people use it with understanding. Oh, I know what you mean. If you know, like if you like, oh, that's cool, or oh, that's fresh. Well, if you say, oh, that's cool to a young, super young person, a 3 or 4 year old, they'd be like, what's cold? It's not cool out here. They wouldn't know what you meant, right? So we use words connotatively. We don't really know what words mean. We don't know. So we're just using them societally with an agreement that it means this, but that's not what the word means. But the problem with that is that because of the word and the way we define it, it sets our intention, which sets our direction, which sets our outcome, what we believe to be true. So you're saying I am every day. In the book, it says when Moses asked God, oh, well, who should I say sent me? Who can I tell him sent me? I am. Every day, Alexis, every day, Brett, everybody on here, every day you're saying, I am. You are literally identifying yourself as the character in that book, and we think something's impossible to us. But to the character in that book, you wouldn't think anything was impossible to. It said, with God, all things are possible. It says, all things are possible to him who believes. Him is mankind. So to mankind, all things are possible to mankind who believes. With God, all things are possible. So all things are possible to mankind and God, because mankind and God are one. Mankind is God in flesh. It's humanity. It is the word made flesh. It is consciousness in physical form. Calvary. They said Jesus died on Calvary. What does Calvary mean? What does that word mean? Where does that come from? Golgotha. What does Golgotha mean? Skull. That's why it says Christ in you, the hope of glory. I never leave you nor forsake you. The kingdom of heaven is within. People don't know what words really mean. They don't know what sin means or repentance means. They don't know what these words actually mean. So when they read the words exoterically, meaning just surfacely, they don't know they don't ever get down under the surface. What is this story telling me? What is this word trying to actually tell me? That's esoteric. I know what you said. You know how when you get to know someone real well, you know what they said, but you also know what they mean. So Alexis, you have somebody in your life, and let's just say it was your friend. And I could be like, oh, Alexis, your friend said this. Well, because it's your friend, you not only know what they said, but you know what they meant by what they said. I would only know what they said. I would be exoteric. I only know the words that they say. But you would be exoteric in the sense of you know what they said because I told you, but you will also be esoteric. You know what they meant by what they said. Most people don't know how to read these books, whether it's the Bible or all these other books, because they're stuck on the surface, the exoteric part of it. So they don't know esoterically what it means, what the words mean, so they know they read the story, but they don't know what the story means because it'd be like you having a blanket on your bed and you laying on top of it. What is laying on top of it going to do for you? Didn't you get it? So for it to warm you, but it's under, you have to get under it. Well, the words are there to warm you, but you have to get under them. You can't just read the surface. You can't just stay on top of them. Yeah. That's what all this stuff is. Right? So that is why I said, I want you now, right? You're going to do your card thing that we talked about. You're going to do that, right? Remember, you're going to do that. Wake up, go to sleep, reading it, fall asleep with it in your hand, right? And reading it, wake up with it, with crust in your eyes and blurred vision until you get straight, right? And right, that's what you're going to say about your business. And your business, like I said, is anything. Said put health on there, put wealth on there, put success on there, put relationships on there, put money on there, put anything you want. Everything you see in this physical world is nothing but an expression of your consciousness. It's a physical expression of your consciousness. And if you want it to change, you have to change. But if you change, it will change. Because it has to rearrange itself to show you who you're being. So you say that to yourself, right? And then for that, and then what was the other thing I was going to tell you? Yeah, and basically you just tell yourself, what you want to be true. That's how this goes. This is just about consciousness. This is about consciousness having a physical experience called humanity. And every human body has a name. It's like every car has a brand. That's it. And I am believing itself to be Alexis. That's why it says I am Alexis. But I am, the Old Testament is written in Hebrew, and Hebrew doesn't have tenses. Most people don't speak different languages. So Hebrew doesn't have tenses. So if I wanted to say, where's Alexis? I would say, Apho Alexis, Ipho Alexis, where Alexis? But the tense is inferred, right, or implied in the sentence. Where is Alexis? Right? So when you say, I am Alexis, what you're really saying is, I am is Alexis. I am is playing the role of Alexis. So guess what? If I am is playing the role of Alexis, do you know how cold Alexis, how gigantic, how amazing, how wonderful Alexis can be if she starts identifying herself as I am? I am as Alexis. If you start realizing that's who you are, you can now have the experience of your true identity as Alexis. You could be walking on water as Alexis. You could be turning water into wine as Alexis. That's what Jesus did. I and my Father, I am, and my awareness of being are one. My physical expression and my awareness of being are one thing. So when you become aware of being I am, your physical expression is going to change. Your physical world's going to change. That's why you said, I got a new client. That's why you said, I got a union representative. Look at how it all changed. So when you become aware of being I am, you realize, like, hey, it's on. Yes, that's how this works. That's how this works with everything. That's how this works. Okay. Your biggest thing is yes. And really just slow down, period. When you wake up in the morning, the most important thing you can do is deal with you. The most important thing you can do is talk to you. The most important thing you can do is order your day. You decide how this day is going to go for you. The most important thing is to get yourself together. But yourself is not getting dressed. Yourself is getting dressed, putting on the things that you want to present to the world, that you want the world to reflect back to you. When you put your clothes on, you put on an outfit. That's wonderful. I go about 3:30 or 4. And that's what you do, right? You decide. So when you first wake up, the most important thing you can do is go to the gym here. Here. You do your exercises here. These are your exercises. You do your exercises here first. You wake up and you make time to do your exercises here. How you gonna run out there and think right? You ain't spend no time thinking. How you gonna run out there and talk right? You haven't talked to yourself. How you gonna talk to anybody else with any sense? You haven't talked to yourself with some sense first. How you gonna greet anybody else? You haven't greeted yourself first. How's your day going to go the way you want to go and you haven't talked to it? You are first. You in here, not this. This is not you. This is yours. My arm, my eyes. You're first. So how you gonna go out there talking to everybody else first? Make time. You are time. And when you start making time, you'll realize that you have more time. When you make time, time will make time for you. What do I mean? When you make time, time will make time for you. When you make time to realize who you are, to remember who you are, to remind yourself of who you are, to reaffirm, to reconnect your awareness of I am. Just like last night I went to bed remembering who I am. Well, when I wake up, I'm going to remember who I am. And then I am going to go out as I am. Just like we talked about making a choice as I am. I'm going to go out making a choice as I am. I'm going to go out thinking as I am. I'm going to go to the gym as I am. What is I am? All powerful. How would it go at the gym if you're I am? How would the drive be? How would your safety be? How would your security be? How would your energy be? How would your strength be? As I am. Right? I am. So I'm working out as I am through Alexis. I am is the one lifting the weights. What did Jesus say? It's not me that's doing the work, it's my Father in me. Your awareness of being is powering your body. And when you're aware of being I am, guess what? It's going up. The weight is going up. The speed is going up. The power is going up. Your explosiveness is going up because you're I am. You're infinite. You're immortal. You're forever. You are powerful. You're omnipotent. First things first. You can't get around to putting some gas in your car. It's relying on you. You can't be too busy to put gas in your car and then want to drive it to work. Can't be too busy. You can't be too busy to be successful and then want to be successful. Well, who is success? I am. So you can't be too busy to be you and then want to be successful. And successful comes from success. And who is successful? Who is success itself? I am. I am success. That's the source. Successful is the expression of it. That's the resource. I am is the parent. Success is the parent. Successful is the expression of it. Success is the noun. Successful is the verb. It's the noun in action. Yeah, that's how you do it. It's easy work. It's lightweight. You do everything as I am. You think of everything as I am. You approach everything from I am. That means you're unlimited. That means you're unconditioned. You don't have any conditions that you have to satisfy to be who you want to be what you want to be, to have what you want to have. It's all your stuff. No one gets to tell you that. And no thing gets to tell you anything. You created everything. You're the owner. If you're the creator, you're the owner. No one gets to tell you anything. I am. I am. And you do everything from that, from your divinity, from your true identity, which is divinity. You are divine. You are holy. You are. You're it. You're all that is. You are the best and the greatest. And that's what you tell yourself. That's what you remember. And every morning, that's what you remind. You reattach your mind. You reattach your awareness to your mind as knowing who you are. You remind. You remember the same thing you knew before you went to bed. Every day is a new day. Memory is not a real thing in the sense of a memory is not a real thing, meaning it is a thought that you have to reignite, you have to reheat in order for it to be present. There's a thought that you're rethinking in the present. If you don't go back and rethink it, you will not remember it. If you don't remember it, it's not present. Man, this is good when you get to it. This is good when you get into it. It really, the longer you do it, the more it makes sense. The longer you stay in the remembrance of who you are, the more you'll see it. The more you'll see it. You'll see it's not a game of labor, it's just a game of consciousness. You're not laboring to be rich. You just remind yourself that you are, that you've always been. You don't have to work to get rich. You have to think to get rich. You have to think that you are rich. You have to remember that you are. And that is what conducts any physical thing you do. That's what guides your footsteps and directs your paths. Because the world has to show you what you believe in yourself to be in consciousness. You can't work yourself. You can't tell yourself, I'm poor, I don't have it, I don't get it, I don't have it. Yeah, mental gym time every day. This is a lifestyle. This is not an option. This is not a get out of jail free card. This is not the lottery. This is not some kind of, clemency. It's not a pardon. This is a lifestyle. It's a style of living. That's why I talk the way I do. If I took days off, if there were areas of life I didn't apply it, if I was areas of my life I didn't believe it, if I didn't really think this was true for everything, I wouldn't be on here ranting and raving. But I am because it's true. It is true. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know it, you can't even sell yourself another dream. You can't even tell yourself it's something different. You just know it's not. And once you get into that mental gym every day, you'll see how things shape up. You'll see how things shape up. They shape up every time. Yes, well, wonderful. All right. Well, I'm not sure where you are, but it's probably not on the West Coast. So I will wind this down and thank everybody for coming. Alexis, definitely great to hear all the good news. Brett, thank you for coming. Veronica, thank you for coming. Everybody, thank you for coming. It's always nice to be able to talk about the law, how it works, how to apply it in everyday real life situations. That's what this is for. It's not to have some kind of good luck charm. It's not to put something around our neck and hope that it works. No, it's to know how to apply it every day in every way. So the only goal is just to remember who we are. That's it. Just remember that you're I am. That's it. And by remembering that, it's wonderful. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your presence and your time. And definitely have a wonderful rest of the evening and night. And we will definitely catch up on the next one. Have a good night. And thanks again for coming, everyone. Have a good one.